There is a quiet truth that many ancient traditions understood long before modern society began chasing wealth and success. True abundance is not only created through effort and work, it is also influenced by the environment we live in. It is influenced by the energy that surrounds us and the symbols we bring into our homes. For thousands of years, spiritual teachers believed that certain natural elements could influence the flow of prosperity in a person's life. Among those elements, plants held a very special place. Plants are living beings that grow, breathe, and respond to the environment. They transform sunlight into energy, purify the air, and bring life into any space they occupy. But in many ancient teachings, plants were believed to do something even more powerful. They were believed to attract specific energies. Some plants were associated with peace and emotional healing. Others were connected with protection. And a few were believed to encourage prosperity and financial stability. According to ancient wisdom traditions, the presence of these plants in a home could symbolically invite abundance into a person's life, not because plants magically create money, but because they influence the atmosphere of the space where you live. And when your environment changes, your mindset often changes as well. Think about the difference between walking into a dull, lifeless room and stepping into a place filled with vibrant greenery. One feels stagnant, the other feels alive. Energy flows differently in both spaces. For centuries, spiritual teachers encouraged people to surround themselves with natural elements that represent growth, because growth is the very essence of abundance. A plant begins as a tiny seed hidden in the soil. With patience, care, and the right environment, it slowly transforms into something vibrant and alive. This simple process became a powerful metaphor for prosperity. Just like a plant grows when it receives light, water, and attention, prosperity grows when the environment supports it. This is why certain plants became symbols of wealth and financial harmony in many cultures. Their shapes, their growth patterns, and even the way their leaves expand were believed to represent the continuous flow of abundance. Some were placed near the entrance of homes, others were kept near workspaces, and some were positioned in areas where families gathered most often. The idea behind this practice was not superstition. It was symbolism combined with intention. When people surround themselves with symbols of growth, they begin thinking differently about their own lives. Instead of focusing on limitation, their minds begin focusing on expansion. And that shift in thinking can influence decisions and actions. In many ancient temples and traditional homes, you would often see carefully selected plants placed in very specific areas. Not randomly, but intentionally, because the presence of certain plants was believed to strengthen the flow of prosperity energy. Interestingly, modern psychology now confirms something similar. Studies show that environments filled with natural greenery can increase motivation, improve focus, and reduce stress. And when stress decreases, people tend to make clearer financial decisions. So while ancient teachings describe this process spiritually, modern science is beginning to observe similar effects. But among the many plants associated with abundance, a few have gained a particularly strong reputation over centuries. These plants were not only admired for their beauty, they were respected as living symbols of prosperity. People believed that keeping them in the right place could strengthen the atmosphere of growth and opportunity within a home. And while the idea may sound simple, the symbolism behind these plants is surprisingly powerful. Each one represents a different aspect of prosperity. Some symbolize steady financial growth, some represent protection from financial loss, and others represent the opening of new opportunities. Understanding these meanings allows people to use nature as a reminder of the mindset required to welcome abundance, because prosperity often begins in the mind before it appears in reality. Before we explore the first plant that has been associated with attracting wealth for generations, take a moment to think about your environment. Look around your living space. Does it reflect growth? Does it inspire motivation? Or does it feel stagnant and uninspiring? Sometimes the smallest changes in our surroundings can influence our mindset in ways we never expected. And occasionally, those changes begin with something as simple as a single plant. Let's explore why the first plant on this list became one of the most famous symbols of continuous prosperity and wealth energy. The plant that many traditions associate with continuous prosperity is often recognized instantly because of its unique structure and elegant appearance. This plant is commonly known as the money tree. In many cultures, the money tree has long been considered a symbol of financial stability, opportunity, and steady growth. Its braided trunk and vibrant green leaves are not only visually appealing but also deeply symbolic. The braided trunk represents interconnected paths of life, effort, patience, and opportunity, all working together to create prosperity. Just as the strands of the trunk are woven together, the idea behind this plant suggests that wealth often grows through multiple efforts combined over time. Its leaves, which spread outward in a balanced pattern, were believed to symbolize expanding opportunities. When people saw the leaves growing stronger and healthier, they interpreted it as a reminder that growth is always possible when the right conditions exist. In ancient households, this plant was often placed in areas associated with financial activity or decision-making. Some kept it near the entrance of their homes to symbolically welcome prosperity, while others placed it close to workspaces. The belief was simple but powerful. Surrounding yourself with symbols of growth encourages your mind to think in terms of opportunity rather than limitation. And when the mind begins focusing on opportunity, people often notice possibilities they might have ignored before. Interestingly, the money tree also grows slowly and steadily. It does not rush its development. This natural rhythm became another important lesson. Real wealth rarely appears overnight. Instead, it grows gradually, just like a plant that strengthens its roots before expanding its branches. This idea encouraged people to practice patience with their goals and financial ambitions. The plant became a quiet reminder that long-term consistency often leads to stronger results than sudden bursts of effort. Because of these meanings, many people began caring for this plant almost as if it were a symbol of their own progress. They watered it regularly, placed it where sunlight could reach it, and made sure it remained healthy. These simple actions subtly reinforced a mindset of responsibility and growth. When you nurture something consistently, you naturally begin thinking about the future. And thinking about the future is often the first step toward building lasting prosperity. Another fascinating aspect of this plant is the way it visually represents balance. Its leaves grow in clusters that appear harmonious. Ancient teachers interpreted this balance as a reminder that prosperity should exist in finances, emotional well-being, and personal peace. After all, true abundance is not simply about accumulating wealth. It is about creating a life where stability and fulfillment grow together. A person may earn money, but if stress and imbalance dominate their life, the feeling of abundance disappears quickly. This is why traditional wisdom often emphasized balance as a core principle of prosperity. The money tree quietly reflects that principle. For those who kept this plant in their homes, it became a daily visual reminder that growth requires patience, care, and consistency. But there is another plant that many traditions believed carries an even stronger symbolism of financial attraction. While the money tree represents steady growth, the next plant is often associated with rapid opportunity and unexpected prosperity. Its thick, rounded leaves resemble small green coins, which is why it quickly became connected with wealth in many cultures. Because of this appearance, people often referred to it as the Jade Plant. The Jade Plant has been admired for centuries not only because it is beautiful, but also because it reflects a powerful symbol of abundance. Its leaves grow firm and glossy, almost like polished stones. In traditional symbolism, this firmness represented stability and financial strength. People believed that when the plant thrived, it reflected the potential for financial stability within the household. Unlike plants that require constant attention, the jade plant grows steadily with minimal effort. This quality created another symbolic lesson. Prosperity often grows best when supported by consistency rather than constant stress. The plant became a reminder that discipline and calm decision-making often create stronger financial foundations than impulsive choices. Many households place this plant near doors or windows where natural light could help it grow. The reason behind this placement was both practical and symbolic. Light represents clarity and awareness. When a plant receives enough light, it grows stronger. Similarly, when a person approaches decisions with clarity, opportunities tend to appear more easily. This simple comparison between nature and human behavior became a powerful teaching tool. Plants became living metaphors. The money tree represented steady progress. The jade plant symbolized stability and opportunity. But there is still another plant that many believe carries one of the strongest symbolic connections to prosperity and protection, and its presence in a home is often associated with creating a powerful atmosphere of growth and positive energy. Understanding its meaning may completely change the way you look at the plants inside your own home. Among the many plants associated with prosperity, there is one that has gained an almost legendary reputation across different cultures and traditions. This plant is often known as the lucky bamboo. At first glance, lucky bamboo appears simple and elegant. Ears, simple and elegant. Its slender green stalks rise upward in graceful lines, often arranged in carefully balanced groups. But behind this simple appearance lies a deep symbolic meaning that has fascinated people for centuries. Unlike many plants that spread outward with leaves and branches, lucky bamboo grows upward in straight, determined lines. This natural form became a powerful symbol of progress, growth, and upward movement in life. Ancient traditions often use this plant as a representation of rising fortune. Each stalk reaching toward the sky symbolized a step closer to prosperity and success. Because of this meaning, people began arranging lucky bamboo in specific numbers. It was believed that the number of stalks in a bamboo arrangement could influence the type of energy it represented. And the type of energy it represented. 2 stalks symbolized harmony and partnership. 3 stalks represented happiness, wealth, and long life. 5 stalks were connected to balance and personal growth. And larger arrangements symbolized expanding opportunities and increasing abundance. As in, abundance. Whether someone believed in these traditions, literally, or simply appreciated the symbolism, the presence of lucky bamboo often created a powerful reminder of steady progress. Just like bamboo grows patiently over time, success in life often requires persistence and resilience. One of the most fascinating characteristics of bamboo is its strength. Although bamboo appears delicate and flexible, it is actually incredibly durable. It bends with the wind rather than breaking against it. This ability to remain flexible while staying strong became another important lesson connected to prosperity. Financial growth rarely happens in a perfectly smooth path. There are moments of uncertainty, setbacks, and unexpected challenges. But those who adapt, learn, and continue moving forward often find new opportunities emerging where they least expected them. Bamboo represents exactly that quality. Strength through flexibility. Progress through patience. Another reason lucky bamboo became associated with abundance is the environment in which it thrives. Unlike many plants that require large spaces and perfect soil conditions, bamboo can grow even in simple containers of water with small stones. This unique ability became a powerful metaphor. It suggested that prosperity does not always require perfect circumstances. Sometimes growth begins with whatever resources are available at the moment. When people see bamboo growing steadily in a small container, it quietly reminds them that progress often begins with small steps. Progress? Over time, those small steps can lead to remarkable transformation. Many households began placing lucky bamboo in areas connected to creativity, productivity, and decision-making. The reason was simple. The plant symbolized upward momentum. Seeing it each day reminded people that progress is possible, even when the journey feels slow. And sometimes, that reminder alone can change the way a person approaches their goals. When the mind begins focusing on progress instead of obstacles, motivation naturally increases. This is one of the subtle ways environment can influence behavior. Now, imagine a home filled with symbols of growth, patience, and opportunity. a money tree representing steady prosperity, a jade plant symbolizing stability and financial strength. Lucky bamboo, reminding you of upward progress and resilience. Together, these plants create more than decoration. They create a visual language of abundance. Each plant tells a story about growth. Each one reflects a principle that has guided people toward prosperity for generations. But there is still another plant that many traditions consider one of the most powerful symbols of financial attraction. Ancient teachers believed that prosperity does not only require growth, it also requires protection from negative influences that might disrupt financial stability. Just as a strong tree needs protection from harsh conditions, people often need environments that support clarity and focus. This next plant has long been admired for its ability to thrive in difficult conditions. Its leaves remain vibrant, even when placed in challenging environments. Because of this resilience, many cultures began associating it with strength, protection, and the ability to overcome obstacles. And in the symbolism of prosperity, protection is just as important as growth, because when opportunities appear, maintaining them requires stability and balance. And once you understand the message behind it, you may start seeing the plants around you in a completely different, The final plant that many traditions associate with prosperity carries a meaning that is slightly different from the others. While the previous plants symbolize growth, stability, and upward progress, this plant is often connected with protection and long-lasting abundance. With protection, it is widely known as the snake plant, sometimes also called mother-in-law's tongue. At first glance, the snake plant may seem simple. Its tall, upright leaves grow directly upward, forming strong, vertical lines that almost resemble natural spears rising from the soil. But behind this strong appearance lies a powerful symbolism that has been respected for generations. Ancient traditions believed that prosperity does not grow in isolation. Just as a garden must be protected from harsh conditions in order to flourish, financial stability in life also requires protection from negative influences. The snake plant became a symbol of that protection. Its tall leaves were often compared to natural shields standing guard over a home. Because the plant grows straight upward with strong, firm leaves, people saw it as a representation of strength and resilience. This symbolism made it a popular plant to place near entrances of homes or near areas where important decisions were made. Current decisions were made. The belief was not that the plant magically blocked negativity, but that it represented the idea of maintaining a strong and balanced environment. When a home feels calm, organized, and protected from unnecessary stress, people tend to think more clearly. Clear thinking leads to better decisions. Better decisions often lead to better financial outcomes. In this way, the snake plant became a quiet reminder that prosperity is not only about attracting wealth, but also about protecting the stability that already exists. Another fascinating aspect of the snake plant is its remarkable ability to survive in difficult conditions. Unlike delicate plants that require constant attention, this plant can grow even when care is minimal. It tolerates low light, irregular watering, and still manages to remain vibrant and alive. This resilience became another powerful metaphor connected to prosperity. life rarely unfolds in perfect conditions. There are moments when resources feel limited, when progress seems slow, or when unexpected challenges appear. But resilience, the ability to continue moving forward despite obstacles, is often what separates temporary setbacks from lasting success. The snake plant represents exactly that quality: strength in difficult moments. Persistence when circumstances are uncertain. And stability even when the environment changes. For this reason, many households began placing the snake plant in corners of their homes or near entryways. These locations symbolized a protective boundary. Just as the plant stands tall and firm, it became a visual reminder to maintain discipline and clarity when managing finances and opportunities. Interestingly, modern research has also shown that the snake plant helps purify indoor air by absorbing certain toxins and releasing oxygen. This scientific discovery added another layer of meaning to its traditional symbolism. A plant that cleans the air naturally contributes to a healthier environment. And a healthier environment often supports clearer thinking and emotional balance. When the mind feels calm and focused, people naturally become more aware of opportunities around them. This connection between environment and mindset has been recognized both by ancient teachings and modern psychology. Hint, these. But when all of these plants come together, the money tree, the jade plant, lucky bamboo, and the snake plant, they form something more meaningful than a collection of greenery. Together, they represent a philosophy of abundance. The money tree reminds us that prosperity grows through patience and consistent effort. The jade plant reflects stability and the value of steady financial foundations. Lucky bamboo symbolizes upward progress, resilience, and adaptability. And the snake plant represents protection, strength, and the ability to maintain balance even during challenging times. Each one reflects a different principle that supports prosperity, growth, stability, progress, protection. When people surround themselves with these symbols of nature, they often begin thinking differently about wealth. Instead of seeing prosperity as something distant or unattainable, they begin seeing it as a gradual process, something that grows step by step. Just like a plant, a seed becomes a sprout becomes a small plant, and over time, with care and patience, that plant becomes strong and thriving. Prosperity follows a similar path. It begins with small decisions, small habits, and small improvements in mindset. Then, over time, those small steps grow into larger opportunities. This is the deeper lesson that these plants quietly represent. They remind us that abundance is not simply about attracting wealth overnight. It is about creating an environment, both internally and externally, where growth can happen naturally. And sometimes, that journey toward abundance begins with something as simple as placing the right plant in the right place, allowing nature to remind us every day that growth is always possible. When people hear about plants connected with prosperity, many assume the idea is purely symbolic. But what makes these traditions interesting is not just the symbolism. It is the psychological effect these environments create in daily life. For centuries, wise teachers across different cultures understood something very important about human behavior. Our surroundings quietly influence the way we think. The objects we see every day, the spaces we live in, and even the small details in our environment can shape our mindset without us realizing it. This is one of the deeper ideas behind keeping prosperity plants in a home. It is not simply about decoration in a home. It is not simply about decoration. It is about creating a daily visual reminder of growth, patience, and opportunity. Imagine walking into a space where you see living plants growing steadily. Their leaves are expanding. Their stems are rising upward. Their color is vibrant and full of life. Even without thinking about it consciously, your mind begins associating that environment with progress and vitality. Over time, these subtle signals can influence motivation and focus. Instead of feeling stuck or stagnant, the mind begins to connect daily life with the idea of growth. And growth is the foundation of prosperity. Another interesting aspect of plants is the way they respond to care. A plant cannot grow without attention. It needs water, light, and time. When people begin caring for plants regularly, they develop habits of patience and responsibility. These habits often extend into other areas of life. Someone who learns to care for a plant every day begins practicing consistency. Consistency is one of the most powerful traits behind long-term success. Small, daily actions create gradual progress. Just as a plant grows slowly over weeks and months, financial stability and prosperity often develop through consistent effort rather than sudden breakthroughs. This is why many traditions saw plants as powerful teachers. Nature demonstrates principles that apply to life itself. It demonstrates principles that apply to life itself. For example, a plant does not rush its growth. It does not compare itself to other plants. It simply continues growing according to its natural rhythm. This simple process reflects a powerful truth. Prosperity rarely appears through impatience. It appears through impatience. It appears through steady development. Another lesson that plants quietly teach is balance. Too much water can damage a plant. Too little water can weaken it. Too much sunlight can dry it out. Too little light can slow its growth. Healthy growth happens when conditions remain balanced. The same idea applies to life and finances. Extreme decisions often lead to instability. Balanced planning, thoughtful choices, and careful management tend to create stronger results over time. In this way, prosperity plants can become more than decorative objects. They become daily reminders of the natural laws that guide growth. Patience, balance, consistency, protection, opportunity. Each plant represents one piece of this larger philosophy. And when someone begins paying attention to these lessons, they often notice something surprising. Their mindset begins to shift. That's it. Instead of constantly worrying about money or feeling stressed about the future, they start focusing on improvement and progress. This change in perspective can have powerful effects. People who believe growth is possible tend to notice opportunities others might ignore. They become more confident in their decisions. They remain patient during temporary setbacks. And slowly, those qualities begin shaping their financial reality. An important detail that ancient traditions often emphasized when keeping prosperity plants. Just like plants in nature grow best in the right environment, the energy and symbolism of these plants was believed to become stronger when placed in meaningful and an ne location. For example, many households place prosperity plants near entrances. The entrance of a home represents the place where energy, people, and opportunities enter daily life. Placing a healthy plant near this space symbolically welcomes growth and positive change. Others place plants near workspaces or study areas. These are places where decisions are made, ideas are created, and plans for the future begin to take shape. Seeing a plant growing steadily in that environment can become a powerful reminder to stay patient and focused on long-term goals. Some people prefer placing plants in living areas where family members gather. This symbolizes shared prosperity and harmony within the home. When everyone feels supported and balanced, it becomes easier to build stability together. Stability together. Of course, none of these ideas should be seen as magical shortcuts to wealth. True prosperity always requires effort, wisdom, and thoughtful choices. But what these traditions reveal is something deeper. They show how small elements in our environment can support the mindset needed A simple plant cannot create wealth by itself, but it can inspire the habits, patience, and focus that lead to prosperity over time. And sometimes, the smallest reminders can create the biggest changes in the way we think about our future.